class, we are going to see one topic, stack trace element from the third unit of object-oriented programming. Objectives are to understand stack trace elements in Java, to apply stack trace elements in programming. First of all, stack trace element was one of the class in Java which will represent a single stack frame which is a stack trace when an exception occurs. That is, it is simply stack trace is a sequence of informations that can be produced to the user when an exception occurs. The informations are nothing but the information associated with the exception. That is, when an exception occurs, the associated class name, method name, so all those details will be traced and all those details can be displayed to the user. So those details are called as stack trace. So stack trace element class was used for this purpose. Okay, so the stack trace element class consists of some specific methods to return the array of stack trace elements. For example, the stack trace element class consists of the constructor. So the first constructor consists of the parameters like declaring class, string method name, file name, line number. So these are all the informations that will be shown, that will be written to the user as a result of exception. Okay, declaring class means the class under which exception is created. Then method name is method, the name of the method by which, under which a exception is occurred will be shown to the user. File name is if the exception is caused by some file access, that file name will be returned, that file name will be displayed. Line number means under the file, under one file, one particular line may cause the exception. So that line number will be returned to the user or displayed to the user. So in this way, stack trace element class is used to provide some useful information about the exception handling. Now, this stack trace element consists of several methods. First one is one Boolean method, Boolean equals. So Boolean method means always it will return either true or false based upon the condition. So it will returns true if the invoking stack trace element is same as the one passed in object. Okay, so that is if the invoked element is same as the previous one, it will returns true, otherwise it will returns false. Then string get class name. So this is the method which will returns the name of the class at the execution point. Then string get file name, it will returns the file name of the execution point. Similarly, get line number, which will returns the source code line number of the execution point. Then get method name, which will returns the method name for the execution point. Then toString method, which will returns the string equivalent of the invoking sequence. Okay, which will returns the details in the format of string. Now we are going to see one example program. So we are creating one class. Under the class we are having the try block, and inside the try block we are throwing one runtime exception. Okay, we are throwing one runtime exception. Then inside the catch block, that is actually we all know the usage of stack trace element is associated with the exception. Whenever one exception occurs, this stack trace element will provide the associated details. So here we are throwing our own exception, runtime exception. Then the corresponding, inside the corresponding catch block, we are applying the method, that is stack trace method. So initially we are printing on statement, printing stack trace. Here we are inside the catch block, we are going to print something, some details about the exception. So we are printing, we are displaying this statement, that is printing stack trace. Then we are going to apply the necessary methods. First of all, final stack trace element stack trace equal to e dot get stack trace. Here what we are doing is we are calling the method get stack trace. So by this method all the elements will be, all the details of the exception will be traced and it will be stored into the array. It will be stored into the array stack trace. We are creating an array. Okay, stack trace. So we are creating the array of elements, that is the stack trace, on which all the necessary informations will be kept. Okay, so to retrieve the informations we have applied the method get stack trace. E is the object, exception object that we have created previously. Okay, E is the exception object, so we have to call the method by extending with the exception object only. So we have applied the method e dot get stack trace. So the stack elements, the informations about the exception E will be retrieved and it will be stored into the array stack trace. Okay, then inside the for loop we are printing all those details. Okay, the details that we have got previously by applying the method get stack trace will be printed to the user, will be displayed to the user under the for loop. Okay, so we are printing the details in this manner. System.out.println s dot get class name. So s is actually the s is the object name that we have created for the class stack trace element. Okay, s is the object name that we have created for the stack trace element and all the details will be stored in stack trace array. Now s dot get class name means the class name of the exception will be printed. The class name of the exception will be kept in the object s, that will be printed. Then s dot get method name. Here by this method we will get the method name of the exception. Okay, then s dot get file name. By applying the method in this manner we will get the file name of the corresponding exception. Okay, then get line number, we will get the source code line number of the program where the exception arises. So that will be retrieved by applying the method get line number. Okay, so here inside the for loop we are displaying all those individual information, individual details from the stack trace element object. S is the object that we have created for the stack trace element that is associated with the array stack trace. So previously all the stack will be traced, exception stack was traced and the elements, all the details will be stored into the array stack trace. So the array elements will be copied into the object yes. Now we are printing the class name, file name, method name, line number with the help of the object yes. Okay, so we will get the output in this manner, that is previously we have print on statement printing stack trace at stack trace ex. Stack trace ex is the class name. Okay, stack trace ex is the class name. Then we are printing main is the method name. Main is the method, main under the main method only. In this program under the main method exception is arised. Exception was arised. So main, then file name is file name of this particular Java program, that is stack trace ex.java. Okay, file name is the file under which exception arised. So the file name of the current program is stack trace ex.java. Then the line number, source code line number on which exception occurs, exception arises, was line number 5. So all these details will be printed. So this is that was the use of stack trace element. Okay, in Java stack trace element is used to provide all the information associated with one exception. Okay, that's all about the topic. So here we can get the question like explain stack trace elements in Java with example program. Thank you all.